Since the dawn of the NBA, we've seen some of the greatest players of all time take the floor. But wait.
Vector in on that guy by the back wheel.
Zoom in right here on this spot.
With the right equipment, the image could be enlarged and sharpened.
What are those? What are those?
We've come a long way from the bricks of shoes that they used to make for the NBA players. And now with new sneakers coming out practically every single day, let's take a look at the evolution of the NBA sneaker. Let's talk about it. Slap up that subscribe button. First things first, don't ask me about any NBA sneaker before the 1950s. I don't know anything about the NBA before the 1950s, let alone the sneakers. So we'll just assume that before the 1950s, they were just wearing some rock hard solid canvas shoes to play their games. But in the 1950s emerged a new competitor.
This is the Converse mark on a great new basketball shoe. Converse All-Stars.
Yes, Converse Chuck Taylor All-Stars are a basketball shoe. Named after Hall of Famer Chuck Taylor, yes, he's a basketball player, these shoes revolutionized shoes in the NBA. They offered a lot more than any other shoe at the time. The materials were so much higher quality and so they were more durable, saving teams and players a lot more money. But that's basically the medieval time.
Well, let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice.
Let's go into the 70s now. With the 70s came the Nike Blazers. I didn't know they were basketball shoes either. But these offered a bit of a higher quality material and a different design. But because Converse were more established, they obviously received a lot more of the sales. And the Blazers effectively sailed under the surface for a lot of their run. Later on in the 70s, in 1973, the first ever signature shoe was released, the Puma Clydes. Puma Clydes were first introduced in 1973 for Walt Frazier. Don't ask me why Walt Frazier's nickname is Clyde. You know what, actually, let me have a look. Why is Walt Frazier called Clyde? Apparently it's because he used to dress like Clyde from Bonnie and Clyde with the fedora. I mean, we all know Walt Frazier's a style icon. Watch my stylish players video. But the shoe reflected his style with a suede upper and a rubber sole, revolutionizing the NBA shoe entirely. But it also had high traction with that rubber, which matched Walt Frazier's style of play, that flashy and stylish style of play. But now at this point, there were four major contributors, not four like this, four like that, four like Klay Thompson, major contributors in the NBA sneaker game. You had Converse, the biggest brand at the time, worn by the superstars and the majority of the NBA, worn by Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. You had Adidas, modelled by Julius Erving and modelled by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We had Puma, obviously worn by Clyde Frazier. And we had Nike, who were pretty much known as a running shoe, so it wasn't doing as great as some of the other brands, but it was still managing to hang in just about. But Nike were really on the outside looking in. They needed a big bang. Well, how about the biggest bang in NBA history? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. National champion, Olympic gold medalist Michael Jordan. He was coming into the league a hot commodity and he was picking out his sneaker deal. He had offers from Puma, he had offers from Converse, he had an offer from Nike and Adidas. Jordan's preference was Adidas. Adidas, it was an up-and-coming brand, but it was already well established, so they would have given him a platform to grow on, but he still would have had some say in Adidas. Adidas still had some recognition despite being quite a bit behind the Converse All-Stars. But Nike not only granted him the biggest sneaker deal in NBA history, not only granted him commodity and royalties for every shoe that he sold with his shoe, but they also offered him a signature shoe, the Air Jordan. Before he even stepped foot in the league, before his very first game, Michael Jeffrey Jordan had a signature shoe. What a gamble, but it paid off. The Air Jordans took over the entirety of the NBA, became a stylistic choice, not only a basketball choice, but something you could wear on the streets. People were fighting for Jordans. People were wearing Jordans absolutely everywhere. Michael Jordan had skyrocketed the Nike brand all the way to the moon. Quickly, take a look at this Jordan 1 commercial.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
Mike's signature shoe opened the door to countless signature shoes, and so really began the signature shoe era. I like to call this era the everybody gets a pair era. In an attempt to replicate the success of the Air Jordans, brands were giving absolutely anyone a signature shoe. We had Reebok producing shoes for Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson. Fair enough. You had Fila producing shoes for Chris Webber. Maybe a bit stretch, but you could deal with that. You had Converse producing shoes for Larry Johnson. See, that one there takes the piss. But I'm gonna say it, the Aero Jams, the Converse Aero Jams for Larry Johnson are kinda hard. I bet you didn't remember them ones. But obviously, none of them eclipsed the Jordans. To this day, everyone wears Jordans. I wear Jordans. I bet you wear Jordans. But we ended up with some absolute horror shows because of it. But that was the signature shoe era. But now to the modern day. I've really got two names for this era. Either the colorway era, or the performance era. Because first, how many goddamn colorways do Nike need? Like, it's enough. I get it, we've got the UNC, I get we've got Cool Purple. We don't need more Nike, it's cool. It's alright. But then, in today's age and era, it's all about performance. Guards love the traction and the lightweightness of the Kyries or the Kobes. Forwards love the support of the Zions or the PGs. But other people love the eccentric colorways and the all-roundedness of James Harden's shoe. It's up to the people now, and it's up to how they want to perform. We have some great sneakers today, recently coming out, the Tatum ones, the Jar ones, some amazing sneakers coming out today that you have an amazing choice to choose from. If you want to know what I hoop in, I currently play in the Kyrie Infinities. An okay shoe, it does the job. I want to improve slightly, maybe get some Kyrie 5s or Kyrie 7s or some Kobe 5s or Kobe 6s or maybe some Jar 1s or Swarovski ones. I'm telling you again, Ja Morant, please, bust me. But we're finally at the end. Obviously new shoes are coming out, but eventually we're going to go into a new era and who knows what it'll be like. But to modern day, we're in an era where brands charge exuberant prices. But I don't care because I will buy it. Kyrie, drop your Anta shoes. I will be there. Don't forget to subscribe. Boom.